How's everyone doing? I have 10 minutes, so I'll try to make this fast. Today we wanted to talk about the power of location and measuring a visit. Next, we really want to look at, quickly introduce GroundTruth. So a lot of you may have known GroundTruth. We are a leader in location marketing, and we're a global technology platform. We work with well over 50% of the top Fortune 500 companies in the world. But today, we want to talk about how our platform is making location data and media activation accessible to drive business success at the local level. CMO once told me, no marketer is going to get a promotion by buying the cheapest impressions or buying the best audiences, right? It's how do you put it together to actually drive business results. So for businesses, if we poll any business, they're going to tell you three things. They want more sales, they want to drive more store visits, and more importantly, they want to understand how do you make marketing work harder for them. So hopefully we'll be able to address those three things in the next 8.5 minutes. But thinking about how do we make the most of this time today, it's really, let's think about some of the trends and why trends are important and how location fits in those trends. So we'll talk about two things first. One is the trend of retail, and the second is mobile. So what do all these three brands have in common? Just really quickly, anyone? They're e-commerce, right? They're disruptors, but they're also e-commerce. They're leaders in the online space. But really, in the last 2 years, every one of these businesses have also moved to retail. They've moved offline, right? And the reason for that is because, not that retail is dead, but really it is where the next opportunity is. 90% of purchases today still happen offline in the US. Some of that patterns are different globally, but in the US, 10 times the amount of transactional purchases are happening in the brick and mortar world versus online. And more importantly, 80% of purchases that happen offline are spur of the moment purchases. So walking into the grocery store, you want to buy toothpaste or buy a roll of toilet paper, you end up walking out with a lot more, right? Everyone has experienced that, and that happens to all of us. So the other trend that we want to highlight is really mobile. And we all know this. We're at Street Fight. We live and breathe this. But the intersection of retail and mobile is where the gold is. And for GroundTruth, what matters to us and what matters to business and how do we drive performance is in this new metric called the store visit, right? And why is that important? Online marketers are used to website visits. But really, if we're looking at offline visits and can actually capture that, it shows a stronger sign of intent. So quickly, beginning of the year, everyone's searching for gyms, right? Number one New Year's resolution is, I want to hit the gym. But we know that people who search for gyms and people who actually go to the gym regularly is very different. So if we're able to actually capture a visit in a gym, that's a much stronger sign of someone being a fitness enthusiast or a gym goer. Secondly, visits are more abundant offline. So, last time you went to McDonald's, or I go to McDonald's, right? I didn't Google McDonald's. I just went to McDonald's, or I went to Starbucks. So there are a lot more signals of people who visit physical businesses, who go to brick and mortar stores, than people searching for that online. And lastly, in the physical brick and mortar world, a visit oftentimes leads to a sale. So take Walmart, for example. Someone who walks into Walmart just to browse, is that likely? Probably not. Right? 95% of people walking into Walmart will make a purchase. But if we look online, 5% of people who visit walmart.com may make a similar purchase. So again, if we're actually able to expose this metric called a visit, using the same marketing dollar, we can actually make marketing work harder for us to get to the same transactional result. So next is, how do we measure a visit? Because in the world of location, we know that not every visitation, not every measurement is made equal. At GroundTruth, we've invested heavily over the last 9 years on really capturing location data to make it work for businesses. And there are two parts. One is the signal. We see over 18 billion ad requests comprising of mobile GPS. Not IP, but GPS that tells us exactly where the lat long of a particular device might be. the first thing we have to do is make sure that that signal is accurate. And so through location verification, we actually eliminate more than 90% of the signals that we're finding out. And we end up serving over 1 billion ads a day. The next thing, once we have an accurate signal, is really to understand context of location. So if we see a lat long, is that device inside of a Starbucks? Is that device in a parking lot or just nearby? And for that, we use what we call blueprints, essentially a digital representation of the physical store boundaries. And through combining these two, we're able to drive a lot of scale and do it really effectively. What does that mean? Every month, at GroundTruth, we're measuring 2 billion store visits globally, right? And we're the only company that is third-party validated. We stand behind our data. And this allows us to really make location plus media activation work for businesses. So this is our second annual validation performed by a third-party company called InfoScout. They work with large brands like P&G and others. Happy to dive into the methodology. It's also on our website. But essentially, if we're able to capture a visit and we're able to make it accessible for businesses, this is sort of the consumer journey we can now tell. And as marketers, you can see why this might be important. So let's say here's an imaginary business, Pete's Pizza, right? Just open up. They know they have a competitor restaurant, much larger restaurant across the highway or across town. They would love to find folks who visit that similar restaurant and drive those customers to their business. So with visitation, we're able to reach customers who are currently at that location or have been to that location in the past, generate an offer through mobile ads, either mobile app or a number of different places, and understand and capture the behavior of someone who saw an ad and later visited a target location, right? And not only that, we can see that all within the same platform. So not only are we buying the right impressions, but we're also measuring a metric that businesses care about to drive sales and drive visits. We're doing that today as our platform through what we call GroundTruth Ads Manager. Everyone can check it out. It's on groundtruth.com. It's our first self-serve platform that allows anyone, any business with a credit card to run an ad campaign that leverages a lot of what we just talked about. And ultimately, what we really want to help businesses understand is how do you improve the effective cost per visit of your marketing channel, right? If we can measure a visit, we can measure effective cost per visit. And there are multiple tactics that anyone can start to leverage within Ads Manager, GroundTruth Ads Manager. And ultimately, if we're able to target different audiences, different tactics, and find out different effective cost per visits, we should also be able to optimize for that result, right? And so if we're able to drive more visits, that leads to more sales, and we can actually quantify how marketing contributes to those results, we're driving better marketing spend. And it's actually working. We have a number of our premier and initial beta customers that are now longtime and repeat customers at GroundTruth, seeing results like this every day. Ted's Montana Grow has 45 locations nationwide. Their competitors include folks like Longhorn Steakhouse, Outback, and they're able to capture the audience of people who visit competitor restaurants, reach those customers with an offer, and measure how many people who saw their ads actually later visited Ted's Montana Grow, right? And not only are they seeing every marketing dollar they spend return a higher result in sales, but they're also able to see that through working with GroundTruth and leveraging these tactics, they're increasing same-store sales lift. A couple other examples, in addition to conquesting, you can even think about loyalty, right? It's not just driving competitors, but also how do we increase the number of times someone who already visits my business to come back more? So supermarkets spend a lot of money on weekly print ads, coupons and whatnot. Here's a partner that has leveraged the platform to target repeat customers, show them offers, and give them reasons to come back. So if we're able to increase the frequency of visits from existing customers, that's also another way to drive sales. And here's another example, targeting an event. Here's a Blake Shelton concert. They know, the client knew that this was a particularly good audience for their RV brand, so they were capturing audiences at the concert and targeting them with an ad, and then measuring effectiveness online. So not just, this isn't just a way to drive more offline visits, but also make your entire marketing channel more effective. So I know we're running low on time, but just to recap, right? For us to really leverage location the right way and drive business results, one is choose the right partner, make sure that data is solid, it's validated, you know who you're working with and how they get their data. Secondly is measure your effective cost per visit. We have the tools to do that, so go out and do it, whether it's through us or one of the other companies that you might work with. The last one is optimize for success. And here today, in 10 minutes, you'll see just a couple of the ways that we're doing that. There are a lot more tactics that we can share. Feel free to email me, hong@groundtruth.com, or visit us, groundtruth.com. Happy to share more insights. Thank you.